As much as I wanted to love them, the last two Glycerin that I tried just didn't work for me. But with an all-new foam, can the third time be the charm for me and the updated Brooks Glycerin 21? Yo, what's going on? My name is Kofuzi and I'm a non-elite runner who reviews shoes here on YouTube, and today I want to talk to you guys about the Brooks Glycerin 21. But before I do want to go over some disclosures. This is a pair of shoes that Brooks sent to me for the purpose of review, so I did not have to pay for them. However, no one's paying me to make this video or to include their shoe in this video, and no one's going to get a chance to preview any of my footage or my thoughts before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. So with that disclosure out of the way, let's talk about the Brooks Glycerin 21. And first, let's go over some specs. This is a 28mm stack height shoe with a 10mm drop, giving us 18mm of foam in the forefoot. This year, the Brooks Glycerin gets DNA Loft version 3, which is a nitro foam. And to protect all that midsole foam, we have what Brooks is calling its Road Tack outsole, which is a combination of rubber and silica. And there's plenty of it, almost full coverage on the outsole. That's going to give you plenty of durable miles. Moving to the upper, we have what Brooks is calling their Warp Knit. Now, it's not a traditional knit upper that gives you that sock-like feeling. That's actually what you would find in the Stealth Fit version of the Glycerin. But nevertheless, even though it's not a full knit, the warp knit that they use in the regular Brooks Glycerin is soft and it is stretchy. I went true to size and that worked out really well for me. There's probably a bit more padding than I like to see, but this is kind of Brooks's max cushion shoe. So there's a lot of padding in the tongue, there's puffy, soft laces, and then there is a bunch of padding in the heel cup to give you not only a nice and secure feeling when you put your foot into this shoe, but also a nice plush sensation. And to give you structure, there is an external and internal plastic piece that's in here that's making sure that this heel cup isn't floppy. All these things together make the Glycerin 21 come in at 9.8 ounces or 277 grams. Now that we talked about the specs, let's get into what it was like to run in the shoe. And I think I can finally say that Brooks has made a Glycerin that I can get along with. Not to say that there was anything wrong with the prior Glycerin. I think it was just designed for a runner that wasn't me, that has a different set of preferences than I do. I'm really enjoying this new DNA Loft version 3 midsole foam that they've included in the Glycerin. It still gives you very much a Glycerin feel, so it still reminds me of those prior versions, but this one has just a little bit more softness and a little bit more springiness to it, so it gives you more cushion and a little bit more pep at the same time. Now, overall, I still think this is a relatively firm shoe, and I feel like people who have liked prior versions of the Glycerin are still going to really like it, but I feel like it's a much smoother ride that the Brooks Glycerin is providing this year. And I even think that it does a fine job of picking up the speed for short bursts of time, like if you were going to be doing some strides in the middle of your easy run. But I think for daily training purposes, for the bulk of my miles when I'm just out there running easy, I feel like this is a shoe that's going to be able to handle frequent use multiple times per week. And it's also pretty comfy to just wear around as well. Now, the upper fit's pretty standard to how other Glycerins have fit for me, which is pretty much almost exactly the same as other Brooks Ghosts have fit for me. Brooks has really dialed in what they want their fit to be, and I feel like they're executing it really well in a consistent and predictable way here for the Glycerin 21. All right, now that we've talked about what it's like to run in the shoe, let's talk about some pairing options if you want to build a rotation around the Glycerin 21, and then we'll go into some alternatives that you might want to also consider when we talk about the buying guide. As far as pairing option goes, I say the Glycerin 21 is going to be your recovery run, easy run, and slow long run type of shoe. So I think that to round out the rotation, you could use a speedy day shoe and also a race shoe. Now for speed, I think that I would recommend the Hyperion Max. This is another nitro foam. This is DNA Flash, so it's slightly different than the DNA Loft version 3 that's in the Glycerin. It's a sibling type of foam that's going to give you a little bit firmer of an experience, but it's also designed for running quickly, and this one's a really fun one for when you want to pick up the pace. And then for your race day, I think we're gonna leave Brooks and head over to Saucony and recommend the Endorphin Pro 3. Now the Endorphin Pro 4 will be coming out at the end of this month. This video was shot in the middle of February, but for now, until that happens, I'm gonna continue to recommend the Endorphin Pro 3 because I feel like it has a lot of characteristics that a Glycerin fan will enjoy. There is a good amount of cushion, but there's a good amount of springiness as well, and that carbon fiber plate keeps things not only snappy, but also pretty stable, and I feel like this is a very approachable race day shoe that a lot of people will be able to run well in. Now, let's talk about the alternatives and the buying guide for the Brooks Glycerin 21. This shoe comes in at $160, and that seems to be the going rate for this tier of a running shoe that's in the max cushion or the premium daily trainer category. I'm not a huge fan of this price point, but that seems to be pretty normal. The first shoe that I want to talk about that I think is comparable to the Glycerin 21 is from Saucony. It's the Triumph. I have the RFG version, which is a more eco-friendly version. Both of these shoes fit into that slot of being max cushion slash premium daily trainer. They have a lot of stack height, but a decent amount of firmness and stability with the ability to pick up the pace every once in a while for short bursts. I personally, based on my set of preferences, enjoy that the Triumph RFG is a little bit more cushioned and a little bit more lively of a midsole foam. So I'm leaning towards this one, but both shoes are coming in at $160. And then I think the closest competition that the Glycerin 21 faces is, ironically, from the Brooks family itself. And I think that's going to be the Brooks Ghost Max. Now this is a taller, squishier version of the regular Brooks Ghost. And I think that puts it in square competition with what the Glycerin 21 is trying to accomplish. Now the main differences between these two shoes are that the Brooks Ghost Max is using last gen midsole technology, as DNA Loft version 2, but it seems to be just an airier, spongier version of it than what we saw in the Ghost. And so I find myself really gravitating towards the Brooks Ghost Max. Now, it is a little bit less lively when you're doing a lot of treadmill miles, or if you want to pick up the pace just a little bit, but for kind of what these shoes are intended to do, and that's just soak up all those everyday miles and just help you to log in those high mileage weeks, I find like I like the more relaxed attitude of the Brooks Ghost Max here, and that's the one that I personally prefer. And this shoe also comes in at a $10 discount. Compared to the Glycerin 21, the Brooks Ghost Max comes in at $150. So those are my thoughts on the Brooks Glycerin 21. Finally, a Glycerin that I'm enjoying, but if you have any questions about it for yourself, let me know in the comments down below, or better yet, stop by the live stream that I do Monday through Friday over on the Kofuzi Run Club channel. I'd love to talk to you over there in the chat. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I will see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?